Good afternoon. I'm Dustin Dick, and I have the privilege of serving as the 10th principal of Topeka West High School. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2018 Distinguished Graduate Hall of Fame induction and Nancy Epic Vocal Music Room Home. It's great to have you, along with your families and friends, at Topeka West today as we celebrate you and your accomplishments. Each year, as I look over the biographies of the inductees, it's always very impressive to see the caliber of individuals and contributions made by graduates of this high school. I would also like to thank Mr. Roberts and the Topeka West Historical Alumni Association for organizing this event. I would also like to recognize our superintendent of schools, Dr. Tiffany Anderson, who's with us here today as well. Over the past few years, as I've welcomed alumni back for this event, I've taken the opportunity to share a few things that have been happening in Topeka West and give you an update on how we are doing as a school. While many things have changed since you attended school here, the dedication of the staff and pursuit of academic excellence has not diminished. In the time that I've been at Topeka West, we have seen a 250 student increase in enrollment over our projected enrollment 5 years ago. And we are attracting students from surrounding schools who are choosing to attend Topeka West over other options. We've seen enrollment growth in both honors and AP courses school-wide. We've increased our teaching staff. We've increased our enrollment, course offerings, and staff with credentials to teach concurrent credit college courses with Washburn University. Our enrollment this semester is at an all-time high, more than triple what it was 5 years ago. We currently offer 17 different courses that can be taken for college credit, with the ability for students to earn up to 47 hours of college credit prior to leaving high school. This semester alone, we have 81 students taking 135 courses, representing 414 credit hours. With the half-price tuition agreement with Washburn University, we are saving Topeka West families over $60,000 in tuition expenses this semester alone. We've developed partnerships with businesses in our community and now run and have our own student bank and coffee shop. We continue to have the best fine arts programs in the city of Topeka and the state of Kansas, as demonstrated by our singers a few minutes ago, with students receiving many awards and recognitions annually for their productions, presentations, performances, and artistic work. We've observed tremendous growth in many areas academically as well. We have an average daily attendance rate above 95%. 97% of all of our grades are passing grades. We have an 11% increase in math achievement and a 14% increase in English achievement over the past few years, placing us among the top 2 of the large high schools in the county in achievement in those areas. And it appears that our graduation rates, which will be final later this month, will be at all-time highs again this year for the second consecutive year, with a 5-year graduation rate at nearly 94% and a 4-year graduation rate at close to 95%. All of this has been accomplished by the staff at Topeka West while working with an increasingly more diverse student population and with a free and reduced lunch rate of nearly 60%. There are many great things that happen at Topeka West every day. The administration and staff here are dedicated to the success of all students. We are working hard to make Topeka West the best high school in Topeka and Shawnee County. I can't help but share many of these great things when I get the opportunity. And I thought you might like to hear some of how your school is doing since you've been gone. Congratulations to you all, and welcome home. Thank you.
At this time, I want to thank the Topeka Public Schools Board of Education, Superintendent Tiffany Anderson, Central Office Administration, as well as students and staff, past and present, for all they've done to make this Hall of Fame possible. Special thanks as as well to the many people that have served on our selection committee over the years, several of whom are listed in your program. As is our tradition, I've asked two student leaders to offer some brief remarks this afternoon. First will be Brooke Guy, this year's senior class president, followed by Beth Winkleman, this year's student council executive president.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Brooke Guy and I'm the senior class president. I would personally like to welcome you all back to Topeka West. If you haven't been here in a while, one thing you might notice, some changes, we do have some new buildings that might be new to you guys. My personal favorite would be the water fountain filters, because then you don't have that awkward amount of space at your water bottle. It goes all the way to the top. If you haven't been to the gym recently, I recommend visiting there. We have trophy cases with our trophies and pictures displayed all along the hallway. Another new thing we have this year is our logo. It is Chargers United in Battle, and that's something I think really represents our school well. I strongly believe any student that comes to Topeka West can find a home and where they belong, whether it be in the music department, theater, arts, athletics, government. I'm sure most of you are very involved in your school, or our school. And on behalf of the student body, I would just like to congratulate you and thank you for being such good role models that we can look up to and setting a great example for our school.
Hello, I'm Beth Winkleman. I am the executive president of Student Council. I think that Brooke covered it all really nicely. I would just like to congratulate and thank you for all that you've done for Topeka West and continue to do, representing our royal purple and gleaming white in your everyday lives. Thank you, and go Chargers.
Brooke and Beth, we will all look forward to inducting the two of you into this Hall of Fame when you become eligible in 2044. The third year of our program, one of our honorees, Dr. David Reedstein, teaches in the Wharton School of Business, and he told me that he had, in his entire life, had never missed a class. And we had our Sunday program, and he had class Monday morning. And he had to get back to KCI to catch a plane and make connections and all that stuff. And we started later in those days, and I barely slept worrying about whether or not he made his airplanes, because I know how important that was to him. So we moved our starting time up a little bit. And this year, because of a similar situation, I'm going to make a change in the order of things so that one of our honorees can make a 6 p.m. flight back to North Carolina, and he will be able to leave if he so chooses, but we won't be jamming him up with our schedule. At this time, I'd like to ask C.B. McGrath to come forward. After a stellar athletic career at Topeka West, during which he was awarded 13 varsity letters in 4 sports, CB was named Kansas Basketball Player of the Year as a senior. He walked on the basketball program at the University of Kansas and earned a scholarship prior to the start of his freshman year. He played point guard under Coach Roy Williams for 4 years. During that time, the Jayhawks were a perfect 58-0 at Allen Fieldhouse. After his playing career, CB served 4 years as an administrative assistant on the staff of Coach Williams, followed by 14 years on the coaching staff at the University of North Carolina. C.B. McGrath was an assistant coach on the Tar Heels 2005, 2009, and 2017 NCAA championship teams. Coach Williams called him undoubtedly one of the finest young coaches in college basketball. In April of 2017, he was named the 11th head coach in the history of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. He has been a member of the Topeka West Sports Hall of Fame since 2001, and now we proudly induct him into our Graduate Hall of Fame. Make sure I'm not getting something here. As a member of the Charger class of 1994, CB will be the most recent graduate to be inducted into our Hall of Fame, one of only 2 inductees so far from the 90s. Since the other one is from the class of 1990, CB will be our youngest inductee to date. And he informed me during the reception that sitting in the back of the room in my class at French Middle School is what caused him to need glasses. Eventual contacts. CB McGrath.
Thank you very much. Obviously, it's a great honor, and you know, some people that have found out, I really haven't talked much about myself. I try not to, and they want to know what actually I have done, including probably my kids and my own wife. And, I've had a lot of fun though, and it started here, and you know, I've had a lot of support along the way. And my parents are here today, Tom and Madeline Moore, so thank you guys. And Carolyn and May and Kathy still live in town, so they came too. We have some friends obviously here, but my kids could not come, my wife could not come, just do the travel stuff from Hurricane Florence and Michael and those kind of things. But you know, it really helped me as a young kid, and I consider myself an educator. Obviously, I'm not in the classroom like all the great teachers are at Topeka West and that teach my kids. But I deal with student athletes. I hope to coach and mentor and really encourage the academic side. But the support thing is really important, and what I realized when I was here, I guess thinking back, you probably don't realize it when you're going through the everyday life of being a high school student, all the stress and everything else that deals with that. But just the whole support of the school really enabled a lot of people to be successful. And I was very fortunate. I did a lot of sports, and I had the same head coach every year. And it really made me appreciate consistency. And it enabled myself and my teammates to have a chance to be successful, because you're getting the same message every single year. You know, I ran cross country for Coach Schrager, you know, and obviously everybody knows about Schrager. He's, you know, he's probably in all the buildings and in every single Hall of Fame in the state. And Coach Josh did a great job with the basketball team, and I had some great teammates. And I got to spend some time with some of them on Friday when I got in, delayed, but it was just good to see them again and just reminisce on the good times that we had, because a lot of times it seems like we sort of dwell on the negative, and whenever I think about high school, I think positive, and I don't know how many people have that same situation as myself, but I do think it was because of all the teachers that we had along the way that were just so positive. And obviously what Principal Dick said is still going strong, and that's great to hear. You know, obviously I've been in North Carolina for the last 15 years of my life. A little over 15 years. So I don't get back as much as I should, even though my parents are here. It's easier for them to travel out as opposed to me bringing 3 kids back this way. My wife and kids do come quite a bit when I'm traveling recruiting, so they do love it here. But I don't get to hear about Topeka West like I would hope to. I don't get to see it. I have not been to a game basketball since I left, and I've been in the gym. And I like the covered walkways. That's a nice little touch. You know, we should sprint around when it was raining like this. But I do think just the consistency, and I realized also throughout my life, consistency is very important. And my parents allowed me to probably make the best decision of my life and attend the University of Kansas. And what happened with that was I was going to be a walk-on. And everybody knows that they're trying to pay for college. If you have scholarships that you can take, most times parents would tell you to take a scholarship. My kids are getting that age, and I hope they get a scholarship, you know. But my parents really left it to me and just told me to do what I wanted to do. So I told Coach Williams I'd be a walk-on, and that summer before my freshman year, I worked hard, and I went up there every day. He eventually had a scholarship that was left over because a kid did not make it academically, and ended up giving me a scholarship for 4 years. My parents didn't have to pay for college. But in saying that, my parents allowed me to make the decision that is probably one of the reasons I'm standing up here today. Is I got to play for Coach Williams, and I did know how to work hard, and I look at it now as like it was a job interview for 4 years. And I obviously did something throughout the course of my career playing for him, who's in the Hall of Fame and very successful, even though he did leave Kansas City, North Carolina. That bothers a few people, still. But he could have had anybody else that he wanted. He could have called anybody else in the country to come work for me when he had an opening. And after 4 years of playing for him, he called me. And since then, I've been very fortunate. You heard the bio. I've got to be a part of 3 national championship teams. I'm finally out on my own now. I'm at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and my first year, we won 11 total games. So, first time in a long time I hadn't been part of a winning season. So that made it a little difficult. And all those suggestions that I thought were correct for 18 years with Coach Williams, I realized they were a little off. And he was a little bit better than I was, and he made the right decisions. So I'm still working on all that, but you know, the consistency that started here and has continued throughout the course of my life has really enabled me to find my niche. And I think that people here allowed me to do that, my parents allowed me to do that, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I think that's, I told all the guys that I sort of played with that were there that I always just wanted to be a great teammate. And you know, you have your best players. I have a great player right now, and I want him to be my leader. I want him to be my star, but sometimes it's not in everybody. And I don't know if it was ever in me, but I always felt the most important thing I could do for all of my teams, whatever my role was just to be a great teammate. You know, I was the last runner on our varsity team, maybe my sophomore year. If I was the last accountable person, we were going to be great. It hurt us in cross country if I beat some of those guys that are better than me. You know, so I always try to play my role to the best of my ability and try and encourage my teammates along the way. And I think that as a head coach now, I try and do the same thing with these student athletes that all of the educators in the building do. Is you just try and get the best out of them. You try and give them the best learning environment that you can, and that's all you can do. And I love my time at Topeka West, and I'll never remember anything negative, which is a great thing to say. At all of my experiences at the University of Kansas, at the University of North Carolina, I'm getting there against Wilmington. All right, I'm getting there. All right, 11 wins is not a great memory, but hopefully by the end of what I'm building, I'll have great memories there, like I do at every place else. So obviously, I do not take this lightly. You know, for me to be the youngest member, don't read anything into that. I haven't accomplished a whole great deal. I plan to accomplish a lot more from here on out. But thank you very much. Very special.
Thank you, CB, and congratulations once again on your induction into the Topeka West High School Graduate Hall of Fame. Considering the recent, and when I wrote this, I said hurricane that struck Wilmington, and now it's hurricanes that struck Wilmington so hard in the new basketball season that is upon you. It means a lot to all of us that you would go to the extra trouble and expense to be here today. As I was saying, in 2013, I hardly slept worrying that Dr. Liebstein would not make his plane. So if you feel a need to hustle down to Kansas City, feel free to, you are excused. If you can hang around, that's fine. And the last thing I have to say is best wishes in the future, and go UNCW Seahawks. I'd like to get back to the ceremony in the order that it appears in your program. That makes it time for the O&M Henson Distinguished Staff Awards. Dr. Henson, who was my principal and probably several of you folks' principal also, was with us for the first 3 years of this recognition program. He was the first recipient of this award that now bears his name. Last year, the campus was dedicated in his honor, as he was truly the first Charger and really an amazing guy, ahead of his time. This year, the committee selected 3 former staff members to receive the O&M Henson Award. Between them, they have over 80 years of service to Topeka West High School. Award-winning author and teacher Dave Burgess wrote that being a truly great educator requires a significant amount of extra time and effort. It demands relentless pursuit of energy, of excellence, self-improvement, and a never-ending commitment to stay on the cutting edge. Further, he asks, who then benefits from your greatness? The answer, your students, your school, and your community. Ultimately, the world becomes a better place because of your greatness. Therefore, according to Dave Burgess, in our profession, striving for greatness becomes the ultimate act of unselfishness. 3 former staff members that Burgess could have been describing are being honored today. One was a dynamic music teacher that left us too soon. Another was an innovative TV and video teacher, affectionately nicknamed Basement Boy, due to the location of his classroom in the basement of the media center. The last was a media specialist and instructional leader that brought the Topeka West Library into the 21st century. On Thursday, October 4th, the Board of Education voted unanimously to dedicate the vocal music room in honor of longtime and much-loved teacher Nancy Epic. Nancy shared her many talents with people and organizations all over our community, and her sudden passing last January was a shock to all. At this time, I'd like to ask Principal Dustin Dick once again to come back down along with Nancy's brother, Ron Skronowski, and any other family members that would like to join him for the dedication of the Nancy Epic Vocal Music Room and the presentation of her posthumous O&M Henson Distinguished Staff Award.
From 1997 to 2010, she was the director of singers, choraleers, and choir at Topeka West. Nancy had performed with the singers when she was herself a young Charger in the class of 1968. After earning a Bachelor of Music and Education degree from the University of Miami, she went on to begin her career teaching in several schools before returning to West as the choral director. She also sang in the choir at Westminster Presbyterian Church for 25 years and was choir director for 15 of those years. During the course of her career, Nancy had worked with the music director and academy, the Helen Hawker Theater, and Washburn University. She was active in a number of educational associations which promoted her profession, including the American Choral Directors Association. Her sudden and unexpected passing in January of 2018 was a shock to the arts community that resulted in an outpouring of tributes. Nancy was known for her talent, her energy, her dynamic personality. A colleague called her a bright light who made everyone around her better personally and professionally. A former student said, "She pushed me, she inspired me, she was a mentor, a friend, and really became a part of my life." Nancy Epic was a force of nature that had a great impact on Topeka West High School and the Topeka arts community. As one tribute stated, she loved her family profoundly, taught her students with dedication, and made her collaborators look forward to each new production with anticipation. On October 14, 2018, the Topeka West High School Vocal Music Room is dedicated to her memory and renamed the Nancy Epic Vocal Music Room in her honor. And this plaque will hang by the door.
my daughter Kelsey, my wife Freda, and my son Jared. Those of you who knew Nancy knew that she was a Chiefs fan. I bring that up. As you can tell, I'm not feeling real well. Jared and I went to the Chiefs game last 2 weeks ago. It poured before the game started. I got soaked, I got sick. I'm sure she's enjoying this. Topeka West was home to Nancy. The students that she had, she looked forward to coming to work. It wasn't work for her. She looked forward to being with these young adults. She wanted to have an impact on their life. Since my sister's passing, we have received many letters and notes and emails saying how Nancy had touched her life, touched their lives. Some of the young adults were students that went on into music, and some did not go on into music. Music was her emphasis, obviously. I'm not the greatest speaker, but I have a story that I need to tell you. 2 stories. Nancy went to the University of Miami in Coral Gables. She loved school. She wanted to be a singer. My dad said, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But do me a favor, get a teaching degree. You're there anyway, take you an extra semester. And she said, oh, no, I can't do that. I'll never teach. Well, he talked her into it. And she's been teaching ever since. The reason I say that there's 2 stories. When Nancy, the first day of every class, of every year, my dad would come to Topeka West High School, take her by the hand, and walk her to her classroom. This is a true story. I thank you very much for this honor. Nancy, I'm sure, would be so proud. Thank you.
I knew Nancy Skronowski at the time. I knew her, she was a year ahead of me at Topeka West, and we were contemporaries in the teaching profession. She was teaching here, and I was various other places. Quite a dynamo. You always knew when Nancy was around. Loved her. Thank you, Ron, and special thanks to all of Nancy's many friends and family that came to honor her here today. Next Charger legend that we will recognize is Diane Goheen. Diane, would you please come forward? Diane's husband, Doug, was among the first Charger staff members to receive the Henson Award. Now they are the only husband and wife team to be so honored. After teaching in several other district buildings, Diane came to Topeka West to work with Mike Prince as co-librarian in 1988. Together they established what was widely considered to be the best teaching library in Kansas. She created the Heritage Week program in 1988. It continues today as an anchor program at Topeka West High School. The 35th year for the Heritage program was celebrated this year, and the topic was India. This cross-curricular program starts in September and concludes in March each year. Curriculum research, projects, and programs are developed using resources from art, family and consumer science, social studies, and language arts classes. Students experience a different culture each year, and to date, no country has been repeated. Diane was also a sponsor of the Scholars Bowl program. She helped prepare several teams to the state championship level. The transformation of the Topeka West Library to a 21st century media center was largely facilitated by Diane. She was instrumental in introducing and emphasizing technology-based education to Topeka West. Diane Goheen was the perfect, hard-working, dedicated instructional leader to continue the legacy of excellence established for the Topeka West Media Center by her predecessor. Diane.
Thank you. I'm not used to being under these lights. I want to thank Steve. You do a lot of work for this, and it's appreciated by the graduates and also by the former staff and current staff and students. So thank you very much. And thanks, Megan, for putting together the reception and everything that you do in regard to this. I was thinking, I've had a lot of time to think the last couple weeks, and I was thinking about, my teaching career where I started out at Chapman High School and ended up at Topeka West eventually. A lot of good memories. Thinking of Topeka West and speaking of technology and how transformative, I can remember being so excited in 1988 having two Apple IIes in the library. And when I retired in 2010, there were 35 state-of-the-art PCs. So we grew a lot. And when you also in thinking, yes, the technology, yes, Heritage Week, yes, working with classes and so forth, but the memories that stand out are the students and, of course, the staff. I think of the Reedy boys that went through here. I think of the Boths, both Carolyn and Tim's family and Dr. Eric and Michelle's family, those Boths. I just am overwhelmed at the quality of students that we were able to have at Topeka West, and I'm sure still do. One of those students, Ryan McCoy, was a member of the Scholars Bowl team that was very important to me, and along with Deb Latimer, an outstanding teacher, she and I coached them for the Scholars Bowl team for many years. And Ryan, a Scholars Bowler, is now on the Topeka West staff, and there are several of our former students that are now staff members. So along with the students, it was such a privilege to work with the outstanding staff members. The Heritage Week couldn't have gone on without participation from art department, foreign language department, family and consumer science department, math got involved. It just is a cross-curricular program. So all of those teachers made it possible. And we in the Media Center were just facilitators. Outstanding people, there were just so many of them. But I am really grateful that we had a supportive administration, that co-librarians, Mike Prince, Linda Wardlow, and at the end of my career, Sherman Levitt, were so wonderful to work with. And lastly, I'd like to thank certainly the best educator I know, my husband Doug, and our son Jacob and his wife Amanda, who came today from Laramie, Wyoming. They're both in the education field. So I'm really thankful that they came. And thank you all very much.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you for your many years of service to Topeka West. Your career impacted thousands of kids and made Topeka West a better place. The next Charger legend that we will recognize today is Corey Wilson for his 38-year career that is among the longest and most impactful in school history. Corey, would you please come forward? When I worked with Corey, one of the things I noticed, he had no concept of the contractual duty day. He worked, seemed like all the time. In fact, this 8th ceremony is the first one that he's been able to sit out here because he's always been standing in the back videotaping or recording our ceremony so that he can put together a disc later. So he's been to all of these because he's been helping us. And that's just the way he always did. After school events, night times, weekends, he was always there. In fact, for each of the first of these ceremonies, he was present also, just in a little different role. As a young man, Corey had gained experiences in the local music and broadcasting scenes, which later made him the perfect young teacher to create and grow the video television curriculum at West. He and his students developed the TWTV broadcast network, which provided daily announcements on YouTube. They also broadcast some activities at the school on closed circuit to students and staff unable to attend due to space limitations. Many of Corey's students have gone on to careers in broadcasting, videography, and other technical jobs at the local, regional, and national levels. Brian Haney was a grateful former student of Corey's, and after becoming the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks, he started a scholarship fund for Topeka West video and television students in Corey's name. Corey humbly credits the students with whom he worked for so many years for the success of his programs. Many were indeed interested, motivated, enthusiastic, and creative, but he was the mentor needed to recognize those qualities in them and get the most out of them. Corey's dedication extended beyond his classroom to the school as a whole. He has been recognized as the Topeka Public Schools High School Teacher of the Year. He was a Kansas Master Teacher nominee. As a Charger tennis coach for many years, he's been named both boys and girls 6A Coach of the Year, while winning state girls tennis titles in 1985, 88, and 94. Today, he is a member of the Topeka West Sports Hall of Fame, and today we present him with the O&M Henson Distinguished Staff Award. Corey Wilson.
He said I only had a half hour. Try to keep it right at that. I want to thank the committee for including me in this incredible honor. I taught with many, if not all, of the folks that are already on this list, and I know that many of them would be smiling at my inclusion as I indeed came a long way from where I began. I'd also like to say thank you to Connie Skinner and Ron Mitchell for giving me the opportunity in the first place to be here. They saw something in me. I'm not sure what they did initially, but I'm very thankful they did. I'd like to thank my wife, Carla, and my family, and my granddaughter, Peanut, and my grandson, Iceman, for being here. My daughter, Katie, and her husband, Jared. They let me do what I love to do here at this school. I'm truly a 501 kid. My dad was a teacher. course, my blood is purple. I've been in Topeka West since the 70s. And when I started here, it was a job. And I was excited about the job. But I soon found out that if you wanted to be at Topeka West and you wanted to be comfortable here, and if you wanted to stay here, you can't have it as a job. It can't be your job. When I got here, the assistant principals taught classes. They would teach at least one class a day. And in fact, when I first met Assistant Principal Terry Sandlin, I thought he was a science teacher. And so we had this incredible connection right there. So if you looked at this place as a job, it just wasn't for you. Topeka West is a journey, and that's what it will always be for me. Like a journey, there are many twists and turns. I had so many mentors who helped me along the way on this journey. People like Jim Elmdorf, Mike Prince, Charlie Myers, Carol Wilson, Randall Walker, Dwayne Shuffleberger, Joe Schraub, Marge Backlar, Earl Williams, and that's just the tip of people that had a huge impact on me, who were great teachers, but they were my friends, and they looked out for me and helped me to enjoy the journey. But they also taught me one other important thing about that journey. Their journey is with children. You're with kids every day, and sometimes you only get one chance with them. So you better make your chances count. And that's what they taught me, and that's what I hope I did. Some of my contemporary influences have also made huge impacts on me. I couldn't help but think this is a God thing for me, because Nancy Epic and I used to sing together in the studios. I used to be a singer and drummer back when I could still hear. And Nancy would record. In fact, Nancy and I were notoriously successful as the two singers of 6 on a regional Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial. And 4 of these singers were giving me a bad time because they didn't think I was good enough to sing. And she pulled me aside and she said, "Don't listen to those people." Nancy also hit me with a Nancy Epic almost every time she would see me. "Corey Wilson, you are B.A.D. bad." And I look forward to hearing that from her. Diane Goheen was another big one. To know that any of our students really spent much time on that. It's just not part of our journey. And so I'm very proud to be a part of this school and its heritage. I thank you for this honor. It's way over my head. It really is. I really can't fathom it. And I'm excited to get to be here today and to get to see Topeka West High School continue where it is. And again, thank you very much.
You've all obviously come a long ways, Corey. You got your notes on your phone. I'm still doing it. At least I'm not handwriting them anymore.
My printer was broken.
Okay, your career has been amazing. Story of dedication to Topeka West, and you've contributed to the future of countless Chargers. There isn't likely to be another basement boy anytime soon. There are no great schools that have not been blessed with great people working in them. That's what Dave Burgess was talking about. Topeka West has been so blessed since before the first day of school in 1961. Let's give today's recipients and their families one more round of applause before we finish up with our Graduate Hall of Fame inductees. This year, our committee met in April as usual, selected C.B. McGrath and 2 other outstanding Charger graduates. All have distinguished themselves in their chosen fields. At this time, I'd like to ask Richard Ross to come forward, Charger class of 1967. Richard is the 6th member of the class of 67 to be inducted into our Hall of Fame, more than any other class. Richard Ross graduated from Washburn Law School in 1975 and was appointed to a position as a second assistant reporter of decisions for the Kansas appellate court system. In 1978, at the age of 28, he became the reporter of decisions and moved to the new Kansas Judicial Center. A reporter of decisions and his staff edit the decisions written by appellate judges, checking the grammar, checking the legal citations, and formatting the pages. The reporter of decisions is another set of eyes to look at the structure and phrasing of a decision for the purpose of improving the clarity of a judge's writing. During his long career, Mr. Ross worked for 57 Kansas Supreme Court justices and Court of Appeals judges. He worked for 8 Supreme Court Chief Justices and 8 Court of Appeals Chief Judges. When he retired in 2016, he had published 81 volumes of the Kansas reports, as well as 51 volumes of the Kansas Court of Appeals reports. This is more than double the number of volumes published by any previous reporter. Mr. Ross is a leader in Washburn alumni activities and is now a member of the Topeka West Hall of Fame. Besides a lengthy and outstanding career, Mr. Ross has been a leader and much recognized and awarded in Washburn University alumni affairs. In 2007, he received the Ruth Garvey Fink Award for volunteer service to Washburn. He has served as a trustee and director of the Washburn University Foundation and was president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors and the Mulvane Art Museum Board of Directors. He's created and chaired the Mulvane Art Fair in 1993 and served on the steering committee for 23 years. Despite all those accomplishments, he recently indicated to me that induction into our Hall of Fame is one of his most cherished honors. I give you Richard Ross.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, everyone, for being here. You have no idea how bright this light is. I can barely see it. But I do know that Dr. Stephanie Anderson is here, the superintendent of schools, and I thank you for being here. She told me this was her 3rd event today, and she's got another one to go to. She is one busy superintendent, and we are grateful for her leadership. When I received a call to tell me that I had been selected, actually the call was, would I agree to the honor? Would I accept the honor? Is how it was phrased. Being the Hall of Fame Distinguished Graduate Award. And I was quite shocked by that. And I was very honored, but I was very puzzled and shocked by it. I called my 2 children, my son Bobby, who flew in last night from Colorado, glad he's here, and I called my daughter, Kristen, and she lives in Topeka. And Bobby said, Dad, that is great, congratulations. I'm getting it, Kristen. And Kristen says, well, that's really good, Dad, but what did you do to deserve it? But you know, Kristen and I think a lot alike on many things. It's amazing how we are in sync. And I had the same thought myself. What did I deserve? Because I know that there are dozens of other Topeka West graduates more deserving than I am to receive this award. But for the committee of the Alumni Association who is honoring me with this today, I thank you for your selection. I'm very pleased to accept it. As Steve said, there are 5 other members of my class of 67 who have received this award. I don't know if Cynthia Heath is still here. Are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of say it. She received the award. She also is flying to North Carolina and has to leave for a flight, so maybe you're on the same flight. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Is Tom Averill here? I don't think so. Steve is another person from my class who received this award last year. I enjoyed my years at Topeka West. I thought the teachers were excellent. We had challenging subject matter. We had lots of extracurricular activities. We had a better football team than Topeka West does now, but everyone tries their best, and I know this team is trying their best also. You're not always the top, but if you're doing your best, and that's what Topeka West taught me, do your best no matter what you're doing. In my 40-year career with the Supreme Court, in the Court of Appeals, my position was reporter of decisions. It's an office, a constitutional office of the state of Kansas Constitution designates this office, and every 2 years I had to be reappointed by the Kansas Supreme Court justices. And Justice Larson, retired, is here today, so I'm pleased to see you here at that time. But in those years, I read every single word and every punctuation mark of every opinion that had to do with school finance and all the drafts that went into that. So I wouldn't say I'm an expert in the subject, but I am well read in the subject. And I know that it is a controversial subject, but I just want to plug public education. I am a firm believer in quality public education. And no matter what political stripe you may represent, I think we all should recognize the end result is the betterment of our education. We strive for excellence in education. And if that means more money, if that means more teachers, whatever that means, that should be what we strive to do, because that is our future. And education works to the betterment of our economy, our workforce. But even more so, it makes us better citizens. It makes our democracy work. And if we malign a public education, or we don't do what we as citizens need to do to make that education better, then we are all suffering because of that. So it works out for the betterment that we all support. I'm talking to the choir here. But I just wanted to thank all the individuals who are sitting here and who aren't here, who are currently involved or have been involved with public education, from the superintendent to the principal, to the educators, to the janitor, to the custodian, to the people that work in the food service, to the counselors, to the bus drivers. All of you have made education improve, and you all are working for excellence in education. So I personally want to thank all of you who have participated in that regard. I just wanted to recognize my brother Mark and his wife Julie, who came from Kansas City. My sister she normally would be here. She's a Topeka West grad. She lives in Colorado, and she attends everything. Whenever I get an honor, she comes to see it, but she's flying back from Iceland as we speak, so she tried to make it, she didn't. So thank you very much for this honor and this recognition. I am truly pleased and proud to receive it.
I don't have Mr. Ross's record of service to Washburn. I went there, I got two diplomas from there, and I financed 2 for my kids. So when I went to the bookstore and bought a Washburn license plate, the little gal said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And I said, "Well, considering my 4 diplomas I've supported over here. I think you could ask Dr. Farley to come bolt this thing to my car. And, tell him I want to see him in that bow tie. Our final inductee, our final graduate inductee is Robert Nall, in charge of class of 1985. Mr. Nall is a community leader in the fields of technology and communications, and like Mr. a wide variety of career fields. Besides being a volunteer firefighter and EMT with the Mission Township Fire Department, he worked in law enforcement with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office, as well as in the offices of Blue Cross Blue Shield and St. Francis Hospital. Transitioning his career into information technology in 2002, he founded and continues to serve as CEO of Heartland Tower Incorporated. This company owns or manages over 100 telecommunications and data center sites in the Midwest. He specializes in working with emergency services and volunteer agencies and donates over $600,000 worth of telecommunications space and resources to emergency services every year. In 2009, he founded Heartland Broadcasting, which later became branded as TV25. As a pioneer company in the new digital television era, TV25 is the first and currently the only digital TV station transmitting 12 digital sub-channels on a single TV frequency in the world. A member of the Topeka West Sports Hall of Fame, we are proud to induct him today into the Topeka West Graduate Hall of Fame as well.
Hello to all the Topeka West High School family, and thanks for being here today. I'm honored to be selected to Topeka West High School Graduate Hall of Fame. Thanks to the nominating committee for identifying and recognizing my accomplishments and all of the honorees. It's amazing the path that one's life will take. From wanting to be an accountant at the start of my senior year, to disliking, okay, maybe hating accounting my final semester that same year. And now today, being a tower baron, as I've been called, and building and owning 3 TV stations in Northeast Kansas. And I still dread any type of accounting work, which I'm now forced to do. To any students out there, take my advice and capitalize on any free or discounted education you can receive. It does pay off in the end. Follow your heart and dreams for the career path you choose. Maybe you'll get lucky like I did and find the dream that others pay you to live. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Rob, and congratulations on your induction into the Topeka West Graduate Hall of Fame. I'd like to close today's ceremony with some words of thanks, first to our recipients and their friends and families that came from near and far to honor them today. Thanks again to Principal Dustin Dick and students and staff at Topeka West for their support of this Hall of Fame and the Distinguished Staff Recognition Program. Special thanks to my friend and retired Charger teacher Mike Boyer for his work on the program and the many other ways that he willingly helps pull this event together. Charlene Lovett, the Charger media specialist, helps with research and editing of my marginal grammatical skills. Photography teacher Jason Berryman gathers pictures from historical archives, and we couldn't make this day happen without the help, on his day off, of head building operator Wayne Sherman. Proud Charger parent Megan Lindquist provides her labor, ideas, enthusiasm, and other resources to make it all happen. Together, these folks contribute to the greatness of Topeka West High School. If you'd like to nominate a grad or former staff member for recognition, you can contact me through the school and I'll guide you through the process. Our committee meets in April. If you'd like to participate in the selection process, once again, contact me through the school. Finally, congratulations one last time to our graduate inductees, our distinguished staff award recipients. Feel free to join us as we hang plaques in the library. Nancy's plaque for the music room, my work order said put a stud down there in the wall so we could hang it. They didn't get around to doing that, so we're going to hang her plaque at a later date as soon as Dustin and I decide where it should go and be most prominent. So we'll hang that one later. But the reason I do this is because the recipients see their plaque over here, but they don't see it with all the rest of them. It's fairly impressive. So if you can come up to the library real quick, we'll hang the plaques. If you can't, that's fine, we understand. But anybody and everybody's welcome to see our actual Hall of Fame where all these plaques are displayed. We'll see you next year when we welcome you back to the Dr. O&M Henson campus at Topeka West High School with a new group of honorees. Thank you for coming.